Monday Night Raw, Lafayette, Louisville, Kentucky, worst spots to be in for any show, honestly. Crowd was dead all night, except for a few things, but we'll get to that later. Nice to meet you guys today. I am your host, the king of the MVP's Lounge, and my co-host, my tag team partner in this new era of wrestling reviews. Be wiser now, top with wiser.
Now I'm starting to question how I sound when I introduce my own videos. We got to work on this. We really got to work on this. All right, hey y'all.
Do I sound like Ricochet?
No, Ricochet, you are not. Ricochet, you are not. Apologize to Ricochet for that. But hello all, I'm WYZA. And this with me, we're still working on him. We got the quiz from the MVP's Lounge. We're going to be doing our Raw review as we're going to be doing our weekly show reviews together. I'm trying him out here. You know, we're going to teach him the ropes. He's going to get better. At some point, he's going to get better. I just don't know what that whole Raw and coming together thing was about. But before we get started, tell me, what was your thoughts about the show? Give me just give me not the breakdown of the show, but just how'd you feel about this show?
For me personally, the pacing of the show was kind of slow in the terms of
Like you're talking now?
yes, exactly. Right? See how I'm trying to get the words out very
So you're going to do what Raw did to me, which was what?
very slow pace.
It's gonna put everybody to sleep. Bro, you gotta get the people in the building. You're talking them out of it. Hey, all right. Give me your feelings, your thoughts about Raw. Don't give me a breakdown. Give me your thoughts. Go.
All right, real quick, plain and simple. I wasn't really a fan of the show at all.
There we go.
That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
It's my personal. It main evented with the women, put them over heavy, and I understand that that's where we're at in the wrestling business, where the women get over more than the men.
You don't like the Huzz?
I like them, but I didn't need that as my main event and to close the show. Personally.
Okay.
Your world champion doesn't get that kind of. He's main event Jey Uso allegedly, but he doesn't get the main event at all. Also didn't wrestle. Neither did Seth, neither did Braun. None of these people that the folks come to see these people wrestle at least, or even to see them at all. And again, sometimes the enjoyable moments in the crowd with Jay is cool, and sometimes even getting to see people cut promos is cool. But we also want to see more than that. Like that's again hard-earned money spent. You're there late at night. You're here to see that.
So let me ask you briefly. You said it's your world champion, main event, Jey Uso, not in the main events, which he was last week. But you also have your women's champion in the main event. Does that not qualify for her to be in the main event? Or is it because you're a Jey fan?
A little bit of both. But my thing is this. I get it. That's the direction they want to go with things.
What direction?
But Raw, they're trying to put majority of the women over in terms of Raw, because especially with Rhea. Like Rhea is probably like their face of the brand for them. That's like the person that they get the best reaction out of all the women on the roster, period, point blank. That's how it is for them. So they want to give her the biggest shine as much as possible. You see people hating on other, even right now. Io Sky would come on in her entrance. No one gave her any love. Or as soon as Rhea's music hits, she comes out last in her entrance. The last person, not the champion, coming out last.
Fair. That's fair. I wasn't cutting you off. I was saying that's fair. What you're saying is 100% fair. That's preach.
Exactly. My thing on it is just when you end the show as flat as you did, what drew me to come back next week and watch?
All right.
I'm a new person watching the show. You end the show with Miss Rhea staring down Io. That's it. Like it's like what really drew me back to come back next week.
Okay. All right. So I want you to remember those thoughts. I want to go back to that toward the back end of this review. I do have words for it. I'm not going to kill a lead right now. However, what I will say is my thoughts on this show is that maybe it's because my brain was turned off. I was live streaming the first half of the show and I was struggling. To get through this. I could have been tired. I was definitely tired, but none of it was waking me up. None of it excited me. From the opening promo to the matches to the segments backstage and the impromptus, nothing about this show captivated my attention. And that sucks because even though I did turn my brain off, I did come into it with hopes that following the pay-per-view, they can give me something that I can say, all right, cool. We're starting good. We're creating good momentum here. We're getting on a bit of a roll. And I don't feel like, or at least I didn't feel like we were getting that. And halfway through, I tapped out. I went to sleep. I watched it later on the replay. Everything's much easier on the replay, but good God. I mean, we'll get to it, but Raw didn't do themselves any favors with their show this week. And I think that we needed to just let that be known from the outset before we get to breaking this down. Now, I wanted for you to introduce yourself and I wanted for you to give your opening thoughts first so that we can kind of draw a line in the sand as to where the viewers feel the type of wrestling fan that you are, and then they're going to understand the type of wrestling fan that I am and see if there is a divide. And it doesn't really has to be a divide. There's going to be things we're going to agree on. There's going to be some things that we're going to see things differently on, but I mean, there's going to be people that's going to gravitate to some things that you say as well as I, and then there's going to be some people that's like, fuck both of you, and that's cool with me. So let's start the show.
All right. Well, you perfectly put that in the point of what I was trying to point out, that slow paced. So for those who don't know already, I'm a big AEW fan.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And streets. And for the most part, they'll start the show out with a match. I'm not saying you always have to do that, but they'll mostly start the show out with a match to get the crowd going. Now, in terms of Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, they'll start out with a promo. I'm fine with the promo to start the show.
You know what's funny? Real quick. They do that all the time, right? And then the off chance that they actually start the show with a match, everybody, oh my God, they're starting with a match. That's just hilarious to me. As you're talking, it made me think of that. Continue. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, exactly. So you start the show out with CM Punk. Okay. You know, everybody loves CM Punk. You know, he does the point to the sky for Sabu, you know, in memoriam. And now the first thing you expect to hear from CM Punk, you already know he's going to address the whole Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman situation. My problem first, before I get to what he said, my problem first is that CM Punk, to me, ever since he's been back in the company, just doesn't feel authentic. What I mean by that is, anytime he puts a promo,
wait. Reverse how you do it. Give us what happened. This is editing here, but give us what happened. Then you can give us your thoughts. I'm completely silent. I'm not saying a word. I'm not cutting you off. So I'm gonna let you get your shit in, but start with what happened and then give us. All right, and go.
CM Punk comes out, points to the sky for Sabu, and immediately addresses Paul Heyman and says, "You know what, Heyman? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Hey, I can't put the blame on you. All right, shouts out to J. Cole, but this is my fault. I should have known this was coming. I shouldn't have seen this coming after you already betrayed me years ago. And now you make it so that you team with one of my worst enemies in Seth Rollins." And he says immediately, "I can't wait to get my hands on you, Paul, and choke the life out of you until your eyes pop out." And immediately, as soon as he says that, you hear the "ladies and gentlemen," Heyman's coming out. And as soon as he's coming out, CM Punk immediately cuts him off. Like, nope. Hey, bring your penguin stuff out here. All right, let's go. Come on. Let's go. As Paul Heyman waddles out comes Seth, out comes Braun. They dress like they in Rush Hour 2 or something. I don't know what they was looking like. And Seth is like, "Listen, Punk, you always, and I mean always, are trying to make yourself out to be the victim. When in reality, you were the problem for Paul Heyman that entire WrestleMania run. The entire time on the road to it, you were making Paul's life a living hell," which I'm not really sure was the truth, to be honest with you. That's not really what happened. That Seth's kind of all over the place with his story sometimes. And Seth's like, "You know what? If you want to be a martyr, then so be it." Sends Braun down to the ring. He's going down to the ring. They all start throwing hands and stomping out CM Punk. In comes Sami Zayn for the save. Wait, nope, never mind. He getting stomped out too. Everybody's catching his work. Seth goes to grab the steel chair, his infamous steel chair. He's gonna hit CM Punk with it, but then out comes Jey Uso. No music, by the way. They didn't play any music for anyone's pull-up. Very different stuff they've been doing as of recent. But Jey Uso pulls up, super kick, saves the day. The heels dip out. Got the hell up out of there. And CM Punk, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso stand tall in the ring. But for some reason, I got this weird inkling at the end of that. You know, the way how Sami, Punk, and Jey were lined up, and Sami had a chair, Punk had a chair. For some reason, it's just similarly reminiscent of the whole Evolution Shield moment where Batista left that night, and they needed a third guy. Triple H said he had a plan B. They kind of were just staring down, and I'm like, you know, Sami Zayn looks like he's in the Seth Rollins spot of this situation. Might get something with that in the future, but I don't know how much people are really a fan of that.
You had thoughts. Well, all right. If you want to hold those thoughts, I'll give mine. But first, I'm going to say Cliff Notes, pal. All right. So what was my thoughts? I'll give you my thoughts on that whole segment. To me, felt like a waste of time. It felt worthless. It kind of felt like paint by numbers, the same promo that we've been getting between those two for months, if not a year at this point. You know, it's Seth just continuously crying about how CM Punk is gaslighting and fooling the fans. He's not who he says he is, and yada, yada, yada. It's the same bit, right? Just introduce Paul Heyman to it. And CM Punk's problem is with Paul Heyman. However, Seth didn't really address Paul Heyman in this promo, at least not that I could read. Did he really? Did he say anything about Paul Heyman in this?
All he said was that CM Punk made Paul's life a living hell on that road to WrestleMania, which I don't believe.
And then made the rest about himself, right? Which is what he accuses CM Punk of doing. Yes?
Yes.
All right, hypocritical. But that's cool because he's a heel. Somewhere along the lines, they need to start. I don't like to rush anybody's storyline or anything like that, but we got to start unraveling some of the purpose. Like, what exactly are we doing here? What's the point? Why does Seth still care about CM Punk? He won. He got his wise man. Why does Seth Rollins have to answer anything about CM Punk? Why does Paul Heyman have to answer anything about CM Punk? If CM Punk has such a problem with Seth Rollins or with Paul Heyman, he should seek them out. They don't need to come out and address him. So to me, I'm just like, what's the point of this? Just more opportunity for people to talk. And then we get the brawl, because we always get the brawl. I like to see things be different. You know, give us a different angle. I guess that Braun Breaker is the different angle in this. But even then, like that, all right, well, I'm going to send Braun Breaker in there. I'm going to send Braun Breaker in there so that he can, you know, get his hands on Punk and soften him up. It just didn't hit for me. It almost felt like, I'll be like, damn, this would be really cool if it was in the mid card, but this being our biggest story, it just didn't have that punch that would get me excited. But what's your thoughts? You had thoughts on CM Punk?
Yeah, so ever since CM Punk has returned to WWE, he's had maybe 2 or 3 great promos, and for me right now, it's just not hitting. Like that promo he had last night, it just, anytime he comes out and he's like trying to yell into the mic, look into the camera, it just doesn't feel as authentic as it was over 13 years ago, you know, when he was cutting promos. It's like, and I get it, he's older and maybe his love for the wrestling business or his drive isn't as high as it was, but I beg anybody or anyone out there to look up any old CM Punk promo from 2012, 2013 and compare it to what he's doing right now. Look at any of them, and the passion doesn't seem there. Like, I don't know, it feels forced and written and just like not like him. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the drive is really there. And when you look at this promo that he had here with calling out Heyman and calling them, it's like, bro, if you got smoke with him, right? You don't have to come out to the middle of the ring and be like, hey, I got smoke with y'all. Just, bro, you can pull up on them. I'm not asking you to do the same thing every weekend. You come out, you cut a promo, brawl. Yeah, no. You can have them start the show, have Seth come out of a vehicle with Heyman and Braun, and have CM Punk pull up on them with a steel chair at their car and start bashing their car up or something and attacking them.
I don't think that's too much to ask for. I don't think that's too much to ask for.
Exactly. It's like, you don't have to be so repetitive, and that's honestly a topic of tonight. Repetitiveness, you know, repeated actions, and that kind of honestly leads me into the very next match, which is Chad Gable versus Pentagon, which we've had before, but we're forced to see it again. So lead right into that.
Well, to be fair, it's been 4 months since we've had that match.
That's true. I feel you on that.
But it feels like they've been having a bunch of matches because of how often they kind of find a way to intermingle the two. Continue.
Especially when he's working with, or one of his cohorts in El Grande Americano is working with his brother, you know, in matches as well and interfering with that stuff. So now it feels like they're all intermingling.
Are you trying to say that they all look alike?
So on to this. So Pat McAfee gets an entrance. Gable gets his...
What the fuck was that about? Like, wait, let's take some time here. Let's take some time with Pat McAfee just getting a random... All right. Do you think that Pat was late, or do you think that this was Glaze? What side of the fence?
This was supposed to be Glaze for Pat McAfee to get a nice little pop.
What is the deal with the Glaze on Pat McAfee? Where did this come from? Pat McAfee's been there for years at this point, but it just seems like this Glaze over the past couple of months has just been ramped up. Like, where's this glaze coming from?
So honestly, during his podcast, during any time he's doing any interviews with people, that's been getting himself over a lot. And even during like ad breaks, you'll see him cut promos on tables. Like even before he even did the whole thing with Goon and talking to him.
Well, wait. Let's go back. You said on his
Like
podcast when
that's
he's
something that
doing
he'll do.
interviews. You said on his podcast when he's doing interviews, you said he's getting himself over. What do you mean by that? Because I don't watch.
So during those shows, like whether he's interviewing a wrestler or any other celebrity, like people love when he's like, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say overreacting, but maybe he does love it that much or love the guest that he has on that much. But he'll put as much love and effort into everything he's doing on the podcast to the point where people will put it over on Twitter, on YouTube, on everything like that. So that's
Okay,
what
he's
he's himself.
creating.
Like
He's
exactly. So he's creating the moment, and it's bleeding over onto social media. And again, he'll have his moments on Raw during ad breaks where he'll get up and talk to the crowd, regardless of the fact. Even when I went to my first live show, that's what he was doing on the show. Like,
Oh, he was doing it back then too. See, because we didn't have the whole VPN Netflix things where we could see the commercial breaks back back at that time. That was last year you went to the show, right? And Pat was already doing it back then.
mhm.
Okay, and now they're showing it. All right, cool. See, I didn't know that. That's new for me. But all right, so he was jumping up there and cutting promos. It wasn't like he was just getting the crowd hype. He was cutting a promo.
Yeah, like he'll talk to the crowd, cut a promo. Sometimes it'll be a mix of both. Sometimes he'll cut a promo, and sometimes he'll talk to the crowd and get them,
Get him hype.
hyped about stuff that's good they're doing. Yeah.
Okay.
So people love that. They get drawn into it. So Pat, as you said, as of recent, even with the whole thing with Goon, like I don't know if maybe it might be just me, but when I see it's weird. When I see a commentator who's also a wrestler get up from their table to protect their broadcast partner, that's cool to me for some reason. I don't know why.
No, I was
Samoa
good with
Joe
that.
did it. JBL did it.
Oh, that was a
I mean,
great example. Samoa Joe. That was a great example.
Yeah. Like when they do these things for some reason, it gets me hyped. But I ain't seen a wrestle.
You get hype, you get pumped up.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets the blood pumping, and then they get killed.
All right, see yourself to the what the hell? Why you gotta get the blood pumping?
Hey man, that's why people watch wrestling.
No, it's not. No, I don't watch wrestling to get the blood rush. That's crazy.
Is that not how people get hyped? The blood rushes to their head. That's not.
Way too much Mojo Riley in your coffee. All right, so we get the Pat McAfee introduction. They dropped this beat, something that they usually do before the show. They drop the beat to the commentators. They come out. What I mean? But like when Joe Tessitore came out to replace Pat McAfee a few weeks ago, did we get them dropping a beat on Joe Tess?
No.
What the fuck was this? Just bring your ass down to the ring. Go through the crowd for all I care. Why do we need to drop his beat like the match is about to start? We got both of their entrances. And it's like, all right, before we ring the bell, hold up. Pat McAfee beat got to drop. Just completely overshadowing the two guys that's in there.
Get your entrance, man. I'm trying to get my pop. I got Gable's entrance was in the ad break.
And since I see the ad breaks, like I don't notice the difference. I don't even notice it. So to the people that do get the ad breaks, very jarring. Like I remember, well, it was only last year, but I remember where they come back from commercial break and it's like, damn, this person's already in the ring, or damn, this person got the commercial break entrance. You know what I mean? Like you feel it, but it feels so much different on VPN because you just don't know when the show is on a commercial ad. Like you just don't know. But really jarring. But yeah, this completely, that entrance just felt so and I like, well, I'm not starting to dislike him, but I'm starting to feel indifferent because it feels like a shove. And it's like, it's a shove for a commentator. Like they don't even push their own wrestlers like this. What are we doing?
Said it before. They love to push the celebrity and the like outside guy rather than their own talent, which is a weird thing to me personally, because then they'll ask, why is this person not over? Or they'll be like, man, this person not getting any reaction. I'm like, well, I wonder why.
I have a video coming out on that one too.
Yeah, put the budget and effort into them as much as you do with other people that aren't actual wrestlers, and maybe you might have something there.
All right. So, talk to me. Cliff Note versions, pal. Go.
Of course, yeah. Penta, Gable, what you expect. Great chain wrestling from both men. Gable is working the leg a lot during this match. He's getting out of his arm breaker into ankle locks. He's reversing Penta tries to get him into a submission, and he reverses that into an ankle lock. He's full on doing what Gable does. This man he should honestly already be a top mid card guy or a top guy in the company, but they don't respect him like that. But eventually, Gable gets up on Penta. The fires back with a comeback. They get onto the top rope. Gable's cussing him out on the top rope. Penta pushes him off and goes for the Mexican Destroyer from the top of the rope. And he beats him with that, which was surprising because normally we've talked about this before that many wrestlers have signature moves that they should honestly beat other wrestlers with. I always have to like resort to the finisher, and I didn't expect him to beat him with that, so I actually like that. That was the spot of the match for me. But my only thing is that when you're watching something like this with Gable and Penta, you know, and again, only the second time they fought, but you need to start using Penta towards something bigger and a bigger goal. Because yes, we've been seeing Pentagon wrestle every week, almost pretty much every week it feels like. And then someone even had a poster of, I don't know if you remember when John Cena and Randy Orton had a team against the entire roster Monday Night Raw. Someone replaced their images with Pentagon and put the Monday Night Raw roster next to it because it's like it felt like he's wrestled everybody on Raw besides probably the top guys in like CM Punk and Seth. So it feels repetitive and contrived to just have him out there wrestling, doing all his same moves again and again and again without any purpose towards it. You know, because in Lucha Underground, for those who watched, every match that Pentagon had in the beginning had a purpose. There was a goal. There was something he was trying to reach. There was a story behind it. But now it feels like, hey, Lucha dude, go out there. Same thing with his brother. They send him out there. They have him have a match with somebody, and that's it.
So let me jump in there. I feel like this has happened already where it was either, and recently, like within the past 2 weeks, but didn't either Penta or Rey Fenix win with a Canadian Destroyer, pal, with a Mexican Destroyer? I feel like this just happened.
He might have, but I can't recall. I mean, maybe in that tag team match that he had.
One of them two did. All right. So I could echo the sentiments of what you said. Again, repetitiveness, paint by numbers. We've seen this before. I think that the only solution that we have here is, and I spoke about this in my Backlash review, is to start breaking these people up. You can have Penta wrestle with some of the other guys that are in the upper card. He can lose, which is going to establish him as, okay, you're down there. Same with Gable. Can you believe that Chad Gable is 39 years old and has yet to hold a singles title?
That's nuts. That's just asinine at this point. Like it's crazy. I know. It's like for some people it is like hilarious, but like people will question how passionate how some people are when they watch wrestling, and sometimes it just pisses me off, and I'm trying not to get invested, but I get invested in certain these people, and just to see them get wasted, like the way they're getting wasted, it sucks. Like it doesn't make it. I really hope Trick Williams and Obafemi decide to stay down in NXT because both of y'all gonna show up on these rosters and do absolutely nothing.
11 years. And neither on NXT or the main roster has he held singles gold. 11.
Obafemi's 26. Well, he's gonna wait till he's like 39 before he gets him a belt.
I don't know what Obafemi has to do with this. I know that you're comparing age, but I mean, it's just about how they're treated. Chad Gable, they should have been cashed in on this equity that they have with Chad Gable. And it's stuff like this that holds people back. So when you put him in matches that's supposed to help get the other guy over, a la Penta, it doesn't mean anything because that's just Chad Gable. That's the perception. That's what they've created. It's not, that's Chad Gable. Oh my God. Like the same way you could look at, let's say, I want to use somebody that's lesser. Let's say The Miz, and you get an Aleister Black wrestling The Miz, and he kicks his head off. Oh my God, that's former X amount of time this champion, Grand Slam champion. Like it's like he beat somebody that has accolades behind him. Whereas with Chad Gable, it's all right, Penta's wrestling Chad Gable. That's it. No wrestling Chad Gable.
Exactly. No pop.
Like that's what we get. We get exactly no pop on a Chad Gable. So this is a problem that plagues them. They don't capitalize on people when they're hot. And then they wonder why these people don't get over. And in turn, it hurts the guy that you're trying to get over by using that person to help get this guy over. He beat Chad Gable. Okay, and what does that mean? It means nothing. But us, the
Beat the guy
crowd,
that tried to be a goon.
the crowd, the people, the hardcore fans, we buy into it because we know how good Chad Gable should be, and we foolishly are still like, hey, we're still waiting our time when Chad Gable can possibly turn babyface and win the Intercontinental Championship. For fucking, like, you know what I mean? So that's why a match like this doesn't click with me, is because what's the point? Start getting these guys to mix it up with other people. Chad can mix it up with other people at the top. Like, it doesn't have to be. Now they're going to introduce Sheamus back into this mid-card plot, which is cool, but it's still meaningless. It's still meaningless. Give me Gable. Have we ever gotten Gable versus Seth? I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did. Long time ago.
Seth.
I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure it's happened a few times. You could Google it. I'm sure it's happened. We've never gotten a Gable versus Punk. Like, there's matchups that we can have here. When's the last time that we've had a Gable versus Drew, Penta we haven't gotten Penta and Seth. We haven't gotten Penta and Punk. We haven't gotten Penta. We've gotten Penta and Braun Breaker, but he was just down there. Whatever the other top stars were, have we gotten Penta and Goon? We haven't gotten these matchups. So when they give us something like this, sure, go out there and wrestle, pal. All right. Why do we care? It's why do we care? Giving us a reason to care because, like you said, repetitive. So instead of giving us CM Punk and Seth Rollins at odds every week, mix it up. The feud isn't going anywhere. And this is how you prolong things without tiring it out. Is you can sprinkle in other components, and those other components can spin off into, I'm over here making a damn video. Give me the next thing.
No, I agree with you mean. And again, I don't mean to bring up AEW as much as I do, but when you bring in people like Jay, Sammy, CM Punk, Seth, whatever they got going on, you can do something. You don't have to be like, all right, bro, y'all cut a promo, y'all brawled for a smidget, and then they're gone. You can run a match. You can do a tag team match later on tonight with them. Give people something to look at, you know, besides just a mini little scuffle and that's it, and we're done. You know?
Yeah, that's something I don't like about what WWE does to their live audience is, excuse me, I paid this money to see this wrestler. They come out, they cut a promo, you never see him again. I didn't pay $40,000 to see that. I gotta see a brawl. Send me home. Like when I talk about the show that I went to years later, I want to reference things that CM Punk did in a match. I don't want to have to roll the dice and wonder, is my favorite wrestler coming out? And then roll the dice. Now we got to double down on the rolling the dice. We got to roll the dice again. Is my favorite wrestler going to wrestle? Why am I taking a chance? I'm paying money. Make it happen. Or let us know this is what they did back in the day. They'll show you who's going to be on the show. And then we'll get segments from. This way, we're not bullshitting our customer. We're not bullshitting what the customer's expectations are, and those customers are not being fulfilled. And now we're sitting on our hands. Why are we sitting on our hands as customers? Well, because our favorite wrestler came out and cut a promo. We know we're not going to see him again. So now we have nothing to give a fuck about. I'm sorry. I digress.
Exactly. No. And I get that. And this is something I have the same problem with. Like, as I said, like, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, they'll be like, hey, yo, bro, guess what? Tonight you getting a 6-man tag match or an 8-man tag match with all these niggas that are all in the same feud together, and they're going to be...
And this shit is going to be magic. And it ain't going to even feel throwaway because it's going to lead to something.
Exactly. It won't even feel something different. It's like, oh, wow, this is different. I get to see all these people in the match tonight, throw hands. It might end with something crazy. Who knows?
You know what? Forget leading to something. They give you an angle. This is the thing about the Attitude Era. And trust me, I understand the people. Why you got to keep bringing up the old eras. I understand those people because you weren't there for it. They weren't there for it. But we got to see angles happen every week. Forget. Okay, what is this going to add to the story? Forget that. We got to see new angles every week, and the angles built the story. Not what subconscious thing can we plant into this storyline that can grow. Fuck that. Give me something here. Give me a building block. Don't give me a pebble. They're giving people they're giving you bird seeds. They're giving y'all bird feed right now. Every week, bird feed. Man, that's gonna grow in about 4 months. I didn't pay for 4 months. I paid for tonight. Give me something to remember tonight. Get a promo, pal. I'm ranting. I'm sorry.
You'll get a promo, and we're gonna overcharge you for the food you about to eat, and that's it. Like,
Wait, did that pebble really line up into that transition? Like they were next?
Yes.
Oh shit, that was good. All right, good job. Go ahead.
Yeah. Exactly. See, I'm sounding professional, but yeah, they're like Roxanne. She's cutting a promo for her because she's gonna speak Japanese in it. You can't have her speak English. Won't ever have her speak English. But she says they're here to take over, and everybody gotta watch out. Plain and simple. And they're gonna start with Rhea and Io tonight. Later on, the main event. Whoopee.
All right, I have nothing.
We're on a Judgment Day. They're in the clubhouse playing WWE 2K for some reason. Stop playing WWE 2K. Play something else. Jesus Christ. Dom doesn't know how time zones work for some reason. He said,
Yo.
Bro, why do you have him being dumb now? What is going on?
I don't know why that skull popped me. It's like they went through the whole segment and then it was like, oh yeah, Dom doesn't know time zone. Hey, Dom, look at this thing.
The background, I don't know if you saw it. Carlito was talking to Raquel saying, hey, listen, like, I know Liv ain't here tonight, but listen, I can take you out to dinner, but we're going to use your credit card, though, and I'll pay you back.
Wait, Carlito was trying to go crazy in the background?
Yeah. He was like, yeah, listen, we're going to go on a dinner, and we'll use your credit card, and I'll pay you back. I'm like,
he ain't got it. They're champions. He's not. He ain't got it. He's just, you know what I mean? He's NPC right now.
That's true. All he gets is just to get jumped, and that's it, and interfere. He don't get to have matches, so he ain't getting paid like that.
But shit, he trying to go crazy. That's my guy. I fuck with Carlito now. No, I don't, because Raquel is. All right, go ahead.
Tiffany Haddish. But so pretty much goes to Finn and like being like, hey man, you ain't help much at the pay-per-view. And Finn's like, bro, hey look, all's well that ends well. You still got the belt. And tonight I'm gonna handle AJ Styles for you. You ain't gotta worry about him no more. And that's how the segment ends.
Don't give a shit.
Yep. Feel the same way. Sami Zayn, they're in the locker room and Sami tells him, hey man, look, we got a match at Saturday night's main event against Seth and Braun. Are you ready? And Punk's like, no.
Ready. Sorry, it was right there. I had to do it. I don't think that's what he said, but let's say that he did. Go ahead.
He definitely said that. That's what they said. He said that. All right, on to Creeds and War Raiders with New Day on commentary. Hey, Triple H, stop putting New Day on commentary.
Some people enjoy them. I don't know why, but some people actually enjoy them.
They're taken away from the match when I'm watching. I'm trying to pay attention to the match, and all I hear is them yelling in the background about something random. And it's like the only thing that like really stood out was like their first couple sentences when they said that Michael Cole's a hypocrite because he was over there trying to cheat to help Pat McAfee win. They're complaining about them cheating, and it's like, okay, that's true. You're right. Cole is a hypocrite. Besides that, everything else after that was just dribble. Can't take it.
I have no feedback on that part right there because I muted the hell out of that. We ain't listening to that. Absolutely not under my watch.
Exactly. But War Raiders and the Creeds, odd. Hard hitting match. I go with that. That's what it felt like when it came from the War Raiders. My problem is that when I'm watching and I got the New Day yelling in my ear, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm looking and I'm also listening, and it's terrible. And one thing that really stood out to me, like it always does when I watch a Creed Brothers match, is Julius Creed. I know people, yes, the contrived tag team partner that may or may not end up being a singles guy. But Julius Creed is like insanely athletic and strong at the same time. Dude is just insane. He had a spot where he jumped, leaped to the top rope on some Kurt Angle, on some Gable, on some Shelton, whoever you want to compare him to. Immediately suplexes Ivar, and then Brutus hits a moonsault. But then it gets broken up by Eric, and Eric drags out Brutus, but then New Day get involved, distract him, then Ivar gets knocked out, and then the Creeds hit their Brutus ball, and then they get the W. My only thing is that both these teams, there's like no substance to them. You see the War Raiders and you see the Creeds, and you're like, okay, this should be a good match, but also at the same time, what am I getting from this? They need to start doing something with these teams so that they get fleshed out and like people actually care to watch them.
So this was supposed to be a number one contenders match, by the way. Don't know if you mentioned that.
I didn't get to mention that. Yes, thank you. That exactly. So number one contendership match. But my thing is though, again, you're like, why aren't these teams, why aren't the tag team division in general? Why is it not over? Why is it not important? And these teams aren't fleshed out, as we said. Like there were times you had APA segments where they were doing stuff backstage behind a imaginary door that people had to knock on the door and walk through, or they would feel disrespected. There were times where Hurricane and Hamburglar was like, doing stuff backstage with The Rock, main event guys pointed out again. And there was times where other people were doing other things backstage, like Edge and Christian.
Oh, wait. So what happened in the match?
What happened in the match? The Vikings lost and the Creeds won.
How'd they lose?
I mentioned that.
You did?
Yeah.
Did I no sell?
Yeah,
that Brutus ball is ugly as shit, by the way.
You gotta stop hating on the Brutus ball, man.
Why? Why should I not hate on the Brutus ball?
Because it's like, it's different.
He's literally throwing ass. You want me to pop for that? He's throwing ass in the air. Hello?
Exactly. No pop.
Hey man, he curls up into a ball and dives into his opponent.
That don't come off the way it sounds. Kano, he is not.
Okay, well then maybe they got to come with a new tag team.
It shouldn't be him throwing ass. Like, why is he beating people with throwing ass? Vince? Okay. Were they using this move in NXT?
Correct. During the 2.0 era when Vince took over, that's what they were doing. So yes, and actually they actually had this match against the Vikings in NXT 2.0, and they won via somebody else cheating to help them win again, and that was Roderick Strong.
And they beat him with ass?
Yep, they did.
All right, I digress.
You big dummy.
Okay. I don't give a shit. Here we go. I don't give a shit.
Nerd.
I don't give a shit, and you know, I'm gonna tell you why. We're gonna kill a lead on this one. Here's why I don't give a shit, and we could strike this one off of the notes for later. This match was meaningless because they made it a triple threat anyway. Why?
They did do that. Yeah, they did do that.
Why we do that?
Wow.
You big dummy.
What was the point of this match?
You big dummy.
We're discussing this too. You know, you mentioned Sheamus is coming back next week.
I thought he already came last week, Pauls.
Well, sorry, not coming back, but gonna be facing. Okay, so they had a segment on an ad break of Grayson Waller saying
On an ad break.
saying, guess what? Yep, Sheamus. Hey Grayson, you're gonna be facing Sheamus next week.
Well, even before that. So, did you see the segment?
Yes.
Okay, because so I'm guessing sometimes you see ads, sometimes you don't. But it was Grayson saying that he had another match for Austin Theory.
Yeah.
And then Austin Theory said, "Hey, I went through the trouble of." Go ahead.
Yeah, I went to trouble talking to Adam Pearce for you, and I got you a match with Sheamus next week. But then later on that night, Sheamus goes into the office and says he wants Grayson Waller next week, and Pearce is like, "Yeah, bet, let's do it."
Just in case you weren't watching.
But it's like, wait, what? Like, why would you?
It's like, you already got the match, dude.
Like, they already booked it.
Oops, my bad. All right, moving along. This was nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Seth, Braun, and Heyman have a backstage segment. The best part of the segment was Heyman like smiling in the background.
Yo, Heyman in the background of this was fucking hilarious.
Like, why he be doing that?
Yo, Heyman's rape face. I can't say that. Heyman's grape faces be hilarious. Can I say that? Rape in GTA. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they do that in GTA? That's insensitive. I apologize.
Hey, wait till
No,
2 weeks ago.
you got to look at Paul Heyman, because I'm actually watching that segment right now. Paul Heyman's face when Seth went to whisper in his ear. I'm about to send you a screenshot of this. This is egregious work. Let me run that back and screenshot this.
How was he looking like that in the background?
Shit look crazy.
No one asked him to do this. He's just doing it. Just to do it.
I'm sending this to you right now. Let's see. Can I send stuff into this chat?
You can.
I could. What the hell did I just do? Damn it, I feel old. How do I send things in chats? Oh, right here, I think. Open chat. Look at this big dummy's face.
It's loaded.
Loading is crazy.
Oh man.
Like, why was he? Oh, I need to add that as a soundboard clip. Like, why was he looking like he was about to bust?
Yeah, that's the thumbnail right there. I'm kidding.
As we continue on.
Lord. Okay, but yes. I whisper sweet nothings in the bronze ear, and then we cut off. And then
Hey,
they showed Jay
that is called a hook,
walking
brother.
back. Yeah, they showed Jay walking backstage, trying to the ring because he's gonna come out there to cut a promo. But if you look in the background, like directly in the background, you'll see Roxanne Perez talking with Finn Balor for whatever reason.
Oh, I see it right now. I didn't notice that before. How'd you notice that? You saw a clip?
Yeah, that's little pebble tidbits, in the back. So
like, even like if you wouldn't have said look in the background, I would have just saw him walking out and I would not have looked in the background. But I see it right there next to the Andre the Giant head.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, Jay comes out, does the yeet, which again, I will appreciate this. Jay does move up another level into the crowd.
That's your man.
Yeah, look. Hey, when people come and they pay their money.
Yeah, he went up a level. Okay, Jay. Wait till he get in the nosebleeds.
He ain't going up there.
He don't want to go in the slums. He don't want to go where the ticket prices is $5,000. Now we got to start at 24 a yeet.
Well, we're not doing that.
There goes he going even further up. All right, go further up the ladder then. Go ahead.
Exactly. Dancing with the kids.
Yo, I wanted him to drop that little kid so fucking bad, yo.
Had he dropped him,
I just wanted him to yeet one time with that right hand. Just one.
Son, the lawsuit that would have hit would have been crazy.
Hold on, he kind of put that kid. I'm looking at it right now too. Like they kind of had that. They stationed that kid. Like he put his kid out there. Like, hey, stand right here, bro. He might eat with you. And the kid looking at him like, can I do the yeet thing? All right, I fuck with it though. Hey, look, I'm not the biggest Jimmy Uso fan. As a tag team, love the guy. As a singles run, I'm not in the camp, but I am going to give kudos to his fan interaction, his crowd interaction, and the response that he get from them. It's definitely, that's over. That's over. I ain't gonna lie about it.
Baby faces around the world. Pay attention to that stuff and what Pentagon also does. Pentagon makes sure to dap up as much people as he can in the front row. You know, they paid hard-earned money to get up there, so he's gonna dap him up when he up there. You know, like stuff like that.
It's good energy.
Yeah, like come on, man, connect with the people.
All right, so what was this about?
Yes, Jay comes out here and he's like, "Hey, look, Logan Paul, you've been ducking me, talking out the side of your neck."
Oh, this was about Logan Paul?
Yeah.
All right, what happened next? What happened next? Fuck that. No, we're not doing this. We're not giving this shit real estate here. There we go.
Beating whoever wins between you and Logan, which again, we know who's winning this matchup. We know what match we're getting. And apparently, according to reports, they're going to be fighting on June 9th, Monday Night Raw, I believe, for the belt, whoever he beats.
All right, so Goon won the #1 contendership match against Pat McAfee versus Logan Paul. I mean, why not? Why not?
Hold on, McAfee versus Logan Paul.
#1 contenders match. They just forgot to let us know, but it was a thing that happened, and here we are. This is how we get to bird seeds, man. Bird feed, bro. Give me some breadcrumbs. All right, moving along. I got nothing for Loon.
WWE. So I don't know if you've watched Sabu over your lifetime, but
who, me or the audience? Oh, you talking about WWE? You don't know if WWE watched them?
Yeah, I don't know if they watched that. I don't know if they like took their time out of their day to like look up anything, but they just had screenshots of Sabu doing things. They had a random piano in the background. Michael Cole just talking over it. Like, you didn't give my guy a video package?
That music was horrendous. That music is not Sabu.
What do we do? No video package for the guy? Nothing? They could have
gave us Sabu putting somebody's head through a table.
Exactly. They're like, nah, here's some screenshots though. Here's some piano music with Michael Cole talking. Like, bro, all right, Triple H. Triple H, Triple H is a nasty.
The suicidal, homicidal, death-defying dead man. Sorry. R.I.P. to Sabu. Truly a legend. They definitely didn't do him any favors with whatever that was. Like, if you know, when they do these in memories of, hold, let me get this one. When they do these in memories of, they need to kind of package it the way the wrestler's gimmick was. Like, stop doing once again, the theme of this entire review is repetitiveness. It's like copy and paste. It's completely copy and paste. Now, you know what?
On Wednesday, watch AEW do a better memorial.
See, you wanted to bury me to just bring up AEW?
I'm saying they're gonna give him a better. I bet they give him a better video package. I bet they give him a video package, but they put him over because he was in the company for a little bit. So watch him do something better. We'll circle back to this later.
What was next?
Let's see. Speaking of circling back, Ludwig Kaiser's in the background of a backstage promo.
I've been talking about Kaiser for weeks now, not getting any TV time, and they finally bring him out, and what do?
Cut him off. Say, hey, bro, never mind. I don't want to hear from you because Jey Uso got attacked backstage by Braun Breaker. We didn't get to see it, but he's dead on the ground, and Braun was standing over his dead body. So there you go. I guess that's what Seth whispered in his ear, to kill off Jey Uso.
If WWE, they got Paul Heyman right there. They got him right there. And Paul Heyman's mantra when it came to ECW was, we hide people's weaknesses and we show their strengths. Why would we not have Kaiser? And the chick even mentioned, hey, you haven't wrestled for weeks. You had a good last year. This year, you ain't in the ring. Was good. And he's going to answer, buries him. What does that show the audience? What is the perception that gives to the audience? Because we've seen them do this before where they just kept cutting the person off. Where's that person today? I mean, I don't even remember who it was. It does them no favors is the point. Kaiser, here's the strength. There was strength with him and Goon together. What's the weakness? We're seeing the weakness. Goon is not Goon. Kaiser's not Kaiser. Why are we not enhancing the strengths? Why are we enhancing the weaknesses here? Clearly, these two together or away from each other just isn't working as well.
I would disagree only because I think Kaiser did have a nice thing going when he started out as a singles guy. They were actually putting him over.
Better than when he was with Imperium?
Better than when he was with Imperium on the main roster. If we're talking like before main roster, then no. But if we're saying on main roster, then yes, he was actually getting more shine as a singles guy. And the stuff he was doing with Sheamus and was it Pete Dunne?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that because Imperium on the main roster just didn't exist.
Exactly.
They didn't even get a chance.
He would just like Triple H would just stopped. He was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna give you anything. And Pete Dunne disappeared. Then Tyler Bate show back up too.
You know what? I was gonna mention that one, and it's so irrelevant that I forgot. Like what? Continue. I agree. They came back just to wrestle in their home neighborhood, and all right, I think they left them there. They're working the UK scene right now.
But gotta work something since he ain't doing nothing else. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Bullet Club leader versus Bullet Club leader. Last time we had this match, shoot, it's probably that pay-per-view back in like what 20.
Oh, we don't need the history here. Go on with it.
Yeah, but that's it. That's pretty much. So it was nice to get this match. I actually enjoyed it. AJ Styles, for me personally, was working like a heel because he was working Finn's leg all night and got him in the calf crusher, amped up his leg even more. So Balor, any moveset he was trying to do with his legs, that's majority of his offense, his legs, if you don't know. And he was barely able to do anything at that point. Got him in the calf crusher again. Finn rolled through it, and then he picked him up and caught him with a Styles Clash.
More damage being done to the leg. Balor, though,
tried to roll through. AJ Styles caught him.
AJ now. Oh, and a Styles.
Real clean. But Judgment Day get involved. They try to distract AJ Styles. Luckily, out comes Pentagon to get rid of the fodder of JD and Carlito. Dom Mysterio, not out there, by the way. Wonder why. And then, after the Pentagon gets rid of the fodder, Finn goes for the coup de Gracies, misses it, lands on his leg injured. AJ kicks him, goes for the phenomenal form, and then pins him 1, 2, 3. Finn always loses. That's just how it is. And yeah, that's
They call him Pin Balor. Did you know that? They call him Pin Balor in the streets.
I did not know that, and that's hilarious. I'm adding that's his new name now. It's not even Phil Bacon. It's Pin Balor. Wow.
The streets call him. I don't know where it started, but it's taking the IWC people by storm. He is Pin.
Finn Balor is nuts. That you know what? Nah, bro. AJ and Finn, both of y'all. Pin and AJ. Nah, Pin and Allen. That's good. We gotta call you Allen now.
Allen's a nasty name, but I'm glad you enjoyed this match. I didn't care. Again, I didn't have a reason to. The match to me felt slow. Both of these guys are in their 70s. Are they good wrestlers? Yeah, sure. They gave you a technical match, which I liked between Lyra and Becky, right? So I would be hypocritical to say that I didn't like this technical style match. However, it just seemed to have a missing element that would make me care. At least with the women, it was character building and it was creating a new star. Here we have two guys that WWE has sent through the dry cleaners. They're washed. And it's not their fault. It's because of how WWE portrays them. They don't give us a reason to care. Like we said about Penn. Penn Balor is Penn Balor for a reason. He's the eater of pins now. He's the new reincarnation of the eater of pins. AJ Styles hasn't wrestled a meaningful match in years. Well, he wrestled Cody, WYZA, in years. That match ain't mean nothing. You get to be Cody's first opponent. All right, we know where this is going, brother, dude.
You get to be his second opponent.
They don't give us a reason to get behind or care for these wrestlers. So why should I care for your slowed down technical match? You got to give me something. Now, you mentioned AJ was kind of working as a heel here. Would you consider the calf crusher a heel move?
I would have considered a heel move, but the way how he was working his leg to get to that submission, it felt heelish to me. But I do understand a wrestler trying to capitalize on something for their moveset, even though they're
it's got to soften up the spot for the it's who does, like Charlotte used to do it. She doesn't do it anymore for her figure eight. There's a lot of wrestlers when they have a submission, they don't work that body part, and then when they slap in that submission and they get to their finish, it's like, oh, whoa, they just tapped out to that, and they pass out to it. Why are they passing out to these submissions, or why are they, why are they doing this when we haven't worked that body part? That body part needs to be softened. Like you said, in this match, Penn went for the his pill now. Penn went for the cup to Gracie's, and he didn't hit it. But he landed on that leg and it was soft. It was tender, which made locking in that submission work. Now, he didn't win with the submission, did he? See, that right there is where you bury the lead. Then it makes no sense to soften it up. It makes no sense. It's pointless. And that right there is why I don't care. There you go. Doing shit that's just pointless. What's next?
Speaking of pointless, Becky Lynch.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Real simple. She says, y'all keep blaming me and saying I am what you keep saying I am. So I'll take it as this. If you say I'm selfish, then I'm selfish. If you say I'm cutthroat, then I'm cutthroat. And to me, I was like, wait, so when we say you're Becky Hogan, that means you're Becky Hogan? Okay, cool. Say less. All right. She also said she didn't lose to Lyra. That's a lie. But she said, I'm here and Lyra's in the hospital. So she lost. Okay. And there you go.
Oh, no, that's not there you go. There's more. No, if you're going to give reference points, there's more. She said she's burying everybody in the back.
Yeah, she said she's putting them all. They're going to feel the weight of the man.
See, when you brought up Becky Hogan, I thought that you was going to get to that part. She's admitting like, yeah, that's me. But see, here's the thing about this promo. Becky cut the promo that people have been begging for Charlotte to cut. Put this promo on Charlotte, knocks it out of the park. Charlotte refuses to buy into this style of heel. I personally, it sounds like you're not high on this promo. I am, because it's Becky stepping outside of her character. It's her taking a chance. And she's swinging and not missing, to me at least, because she's fully taking advantage of what the crowd had given her. I've been saying this for a few years now. When Becky does her entrance and she gets up on those ropes and she looks at the crowd, here's the thing about WWE. They're piping in some audio on a lot of stuff. They're piping in audio. They're changing audio. They're lowering audio. Look no further than Zelina Vega. When you look at Becky, right, and she's getting the reaction that she gets, but when she looks into the crowd, I've been saying this shit for years. Finally, I'm happy that she said it. She said, I would get up on these ropes and I'll look out into the crowd and I'm not getting the response that I was getting when I was losing. But once I start winning, I'm no longer relatable because you people are losers. See, that's also a good spin on how John Cena could do this whole I'm against the crowd thing. She didn't harp too much on the crowd. She explained, here's where we have a disconnect and here's where I'm going. I'm not worried about y'all. You're losers. So let me continue to move in a different direction away from people like you. I don't need to keep having a promo about you, John Cena. So it's like she did Charlotte's job and Cena's job at the same time while being in a character that just hasn't been her for for majority of her run. There was times where she was heel, but it didn't feel like this. Like those heel Beckys felt like I'm playing a character. This one feels like I'm fully embracing this because y'all have turned me into this. And that's why I like that promo, along with the fact of these people backstage are saying that I'm getting in their way or I'm depriving them of opportunities. Well, I'm going to keep doing that. And I'm pulling up on everybody back there to just run through all of you. And I'm cool with that. I like that. Let us know if we are saying that she's Becky Hogan and she's like, all right, well, cool. I'm going to be Becky Hogan. But thank you. Thank you. Because now we can't avoid the elephant in the room. Now we have to create a babyface to take down that Becky Hogan. But if we were avoiding the elephant in the room, then who are we building up and what are we building them up for if this person is avoiding the obvious? I thought that this worked. I thought it worked, and I think that maybe I might have given you a different perspective on this program.
Perspective when I promo.
I got him.
No. So, see, here's the thing. Right? Let me ask a question first, just to see where you say what you say. We'll base it off of my response.
You should have your response already. I shouldn't deter your response.
I got multiple, so I got multiple responses. So I'm trying to gauge it off of this. Is Becky saying that she's gonna now be Becky Hogan, or saying that that's what she is?
Becky is saying that people have been calling her that, so now she's fully buying into it and is going to do it. That's what she said. Not my words. It's what she said.
Okay. Because if it was going to be the fact of saying that, okay, I am Becky Hogan, then I feel like two things should have happened. Either she should have already cut this promo after beating Lyra, in whatever way she does it.
She never beat Lyra.
I'm saying she should have either beat her and then cut this promo, or Lyra from the point forward now, since she's saying she's, hemped up in a hospital, she should either lose that belt and going forward, Becky Hogan her way to get it now since it's relinquished or something. But for some reason, for me, that's just the disconnect is saying that I am Becky.
Are you saying that? I'm gonna clean up what I think you're saying. Are you saying that this whole Becky Hogan thing works if she took the title off of her?
Yes, but if she's saying that she's gonna be it now, then that's different. Then okay, if she's gonna start being it now,
Yeah, no,
okay,
no.
fine.
In the promo, it was pretty much her saying that she's embracing that.
Okay, then that's fine. Then it's a fine promo. Now she's gonna start doing it now. If she was saying she was already it, then that's different.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was going. Yeah, this promo was about who I am going forward.
Okay, yeah, then yeah.
All right, so what did we get from this? Was there anything after this? What was that? What was next?
After this, we get a little Rusev vignette.
All right, he didn't want to do what he had to do, but he had to do it. He rather you guys fail by his hands than fail by your own accord. Got it. All right, cool.
Referencing his AEW persona, Game Over, all that.
Was it the Redeemer or was it Game Over? I don't know shit about the Game Over thing.
Game Over really kind of added once he's like started doing Twitch, and it became a whole gaming thing. So like Game Over, just that reference, but saying leaving their programming and get rid of that stuff and them.
Was Game Over before or after the Redeemer, or was it just a move?
Actually, it might have been just a combination of both. So they kind of
so Game Over was just a move, or was it a character?
It was more so.
I'm not trying to pin you against the wall. Like I don't know.
Nah. I think it was more so a catchphrase than a gimmick.
We're spending too much time on this. All right, what else? Okay, what we got?
Rub the hands for this one. I really enjoyed this one. Really enjoyed it. Roxanne and Julia, great pairing. I didn't think so at first when I first saw them come together, but I was like, nah, this pairing here, this could be a legit pairing, even though they broke them up at the end of the match. But yeah,
what made it a good pairing?
So Roxanne, Julia, they both had great chemistry in ring. Like the tag team offense they were doing, the keeping EO away from tagging in Rhea, majority of the match, doing the same thing, vice versa when they both were out. Like they meshed really well. Julia using her strong style, and then Roxanne keeping her with the technical ability she has. Like they were even putting up on commentary. They're like Booker T was even saying that Roxanne, like as young as she was going to be a real prodigy at this thing because she was like really good at it. It was, again, constantly every week we see Roxanne wrestle, it's showing. So both of them, Roxanne and Julia, they great pairing that they had here. Now on the other hand, when it came to Io and Rhea, as we know, they've had a long history of battle that Rhea can't win, and Rhea eventually wants to get the belt off of her. But they tried their best in this match. They're not a great pairing, honestly. Some of that, like they had one little tag team move they did, like where she used Io as a battering ram. But besides that, like it was like the crowd wasn't really hot for it when it came to Julia and Roxanne doing anything. Like they didn't even react, like not even like a boo or anything. It was barely any reaction from them. But anything Io and Rhea was doing, they were hot for it. They even started doing the Io points now. That's just a thing now. Anytime she does her points.
I did notice that people like I noticed that was it Backlash? No, it wasn't Backlash. When did I notice this shit? Last week, I think, where Io Io does the point and then they show the people in the crowd doing the gimmick as well. Yeah, I did not expect that to get over.
Mm-hmm. Like even though they're not reacting during the entrance, you can see during the match she knows how to get the crowd going.
Oh yeah, it's like they'll be dead silent for her, but as soon as that bell rings, they go nuts. Like they can't help it, and I don't blame them because she's fucking amazing.
I can't wait for Asuka and them to come back. It's gonna be great. But yes, spot of the match for me was when Julia had Io on the top rope and hit her with a tiger suplex off the top. Jesus Christ, that thing looked crazy.
Can I tell you my spot of the match real quick? All right, you got Io on the top ropes, and you got Rhea that comes on the outside because she's going to do, I guess, some sort of crossbody on somebody on the outside. And it's like, so she's standing right next to Io, who's on the ropes, and she looks at Io, and Io's like, do it. And then Rhea does the points, and the crowd fucking pop for it. Oh, that got me. That got me. I'm like, yo, they're really doing this damn points thing. Yo, why is this a thing? She got Rhea to do the point gimmick. Go ahead. That's my pop of the match. Or that's my spot of the match right there. I don't care what happened after that. She did the gimmick.
That's crazy. Yeah, she did the gimmick. And then Roxanne was going for a crossbody. It gets pushed into it. Miscommunication, unfortunately. And then Julia gets picked up, headbutt, drop with the riptide. And Io holds down Roxanne. And then Rhea gives Julia the Rhea pin. And 1, 2, 3. Rhea and Io are successful in this matchup. They raise their arms in the air. Rhea is looking at the world title, giving it the I need you stare. Let's go. Eventually she leaves the ring and Raw cuts off. Now, my problem that I pointed out from early on in the beginning of the show is that, yes, this was a good match and I did enjoy it. But for me, the show ends in a way where I'm like, I'm not looking forward to next week. Like, I'm not caring about going forward. All right, I got to catch Monday Night Raw next week. I got to see what happens. Like, it doesn't end that way. Are your sentiments similar, or do you like just feel a little different on that?
Continue.
Continue. Like,
All right, that was a distraction roll up. That was a distracting roll up. You gotta know when to fill the spots. Editing, pal. But all right, so I enjoyed the match. It was fun. But the first thing that I noticed here, they gotta find a way to get Julia over. Because her standing next to the other three women, it just felt like she was just there. I don't know if it's the braids or I don't know if it's the braids or what, but like she just doesn't seem to be standing out. Or at least maybe my expectations of her were higher coming into WWE, and seeing how she, like, it just doesn't feel like anything. At least with Roxanne, you get a feeling. Roxanne's going to star. Like, she knows how to take over a match. She knows how to get her shit over. Whether it be just running around outside and hitting the move, or if she's in the ring, Roxanne does this thing. See, she's limited because of her height, but again, this is one of those things where you hide your weaknesses and you enhance your strengths. So what does she do? She knows that she's undersized. She's going to work a body part, and then when she's on top, and I don't mean like literally laying on top, but like when she's on top, she's going to slow the match down, and she's going to put the focus on her. She's going to stand. She's going to do everything in slow motion, because now the crowd has to focus on what she's doing. We don't like a slow match. Why don't you like a slow match? If you don't like the slow match, okay, I'm going to make it slower. I'm going to do this thing slower, and you're going to feel it. And you're going to not like what's happening because I'm doing it. And then on a contrast, you get Julia in there, and Julia is just go, 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 go. She's got to slow it down so that she can make her stuff count. And because she's not making her stuff count, everything just feels like a blur. And this one thing bothered me. I don't know if it bothered you, but this bothered the hell out of me. I want to say 80% of the time, I thought that Rhea was turning on Io, because her and Roxanne looked exactly the same. Same hair, same outfit, same colors, same everything. I couldn't tell when it was Roxanne or when it was Rhea that was doing something to Io. So many times I'm looking at Io standing there, and I'm like, Io, watch out, your partner's gonna turn on you. And it was Roxanne. I'm like, what? It just bothered me. It really, like, why are they wearing the same thing and have like the same hairstyle? I couldn't get away from it unless and that's just in a flash. Now, when you slow it down and you're really, really paying attention, it's like, okay, she got the tattoos. Okay, her face is different. Okay, she got the mascara. But like when you just see somebody running at a blur and you just see them from the back, they all look the same. Different heights, but you don't really see the heights because it's just momentum that's going.
You see the heights.
Well, no, but it's just momentum that's going. All you notice is hair and black, meaning her outfit. Like you don't really.
No, sir. No, sir.
What?
In terms of Roxanne running and Rhea running, those are two different views. One hits the ropes on top, one hits the middle. Like this like Roxanne is all of 4'11".
So there was never a time in this match, and now I'm using the words never, I don't like to do that, but there wasn't a time in this match where you're looking at this and you was like, hold up, wait, time out. Like it didn't jar you? Nah. All right, it's just me then. Just me, Oos. And that's fine. But if your partner's wearing like lavenderish colors, why, like, it's just like when you have, this is what somebody like a Jim Cornette would pick up on, where he would say, okay, if I have two guys going against each other, I don't want them both wearing black. We need contrast here. We need to be able to tell you apart. It's just a quick observation. Now, are you sitting there just staring at it? No, it's just what your eye quickly notices. It threw me off a lot of times, but that's just me, I guess. As for the
I agree on the clothing part. We've honestly talked about this. Anytime we'll see a pay-per-view or any show and you'll see a tag team match and you'll see two opposite teams and some of them will be in like the same similar clothing. You're like, wait, are these guys in the same team? Are they the same faction? Because they wearing the same colors. Like, what's going on? Like, they'll be in purple and black and another person be in purple and black on the other side. Are they on the same team? If somebody just happens to tune in, just like change the channel to it, and they see that, they'll probably think they're on the same side because they're in the same colors. I get what you mean.
But as for the match, I'm starting to think that you got a problem with the Huzz. You got a problem with what's the problem with the Huzz?
No, I ain't got like the match.
Because you said like, what's it? It doesn't bring any interest for you going into next week, right? But to be fair, they don't do that with the men either.
That's
So what's the problem with the Huz?
no problem with it. I'm just saying, if you end the show with that, do something to make you want to watch next week. You didn't do anything for me to do that.
So I agree, right? I agree with it because it's just, okay, we had this match. Now, this is your main event of the evening. And we have this match. Did it put over the NXT talent or the NXT women? You know what? And this is the other thing with Julia and why it works with Roxanne. We got snippets of Roxanne before she got called up. So we knew what to expect. The crowd knew, like, you know, we could grow our main roster expectations of Roxanne. Julia was just out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, she's here, right? So they didn't really introduce her to us.
And at least had a couple matches on the main roster.
Right, and they did do a good job at introducing us, and they had her in the Elimination Chamber. They had her in the Royal Rumble, where she had the longest amount of time ever. So we have accolades here. We have a reason to understand Roxanne and who she is. Whereas Julia, on the other hand, is like, hey, here's a run-in. And then, like, she's wrestling. And it's like, wait, who is this lady? Give us a reason to care. And they haven't done that. So what did this do for them? Did this help get them over? It showed that they can hang. That's one thing. So, okay, cool. But did we need that in the main event? No. What did it do for Rhea and Io? It showed that Rhea can respect Io, and it showed that Rhea can look at her and say, okay, you actually do deserve to be champion. Because that's the feeling that I got with that celebration, how she looked at the title. When she looked at the title, she looked at it, to me, it was like, all right, I missed this thing, but right now it's in good hands. That's what I got from it, especially when, you know, they hugged and then Rhea's leaving the ring. She give her a little smack on the ass and then she just leaves. I think that was like a huge sign of respect, and also to me, it let me know that, okay, she's going to work on building herself back up in these trenches. She's got to get back in the trenches. And if that's the way that they're going about it, I'm cool with it. If I'm looking into it more than it actually is, which I usually am, then this was completely pointless. What was the point of it? They could have put this in the middle of the show. Now, what would they have done to close the show? Could they have put what we got in the beginning of the show at the end of the show? No, because that was also worthless. This was a worthless, repetitive Raw that we just did not need. Ball of paper up, throw it in the garbage, come back to us with another one. Give us our beginning, give us our hook, give us our end. How do we going to build to the end? What is going to be our in-betweens? How do we get our mid-card guys over? And can we put somebody that's at the top in a match so that the crowd can go home happy instead of only giving them that on a dark match? That's my thoughts on Raw.
My closing thoughts: stop with the repetitiveness. Give us something meaningful at the end to draw us back in for next week. Give the tag team something to actually latch onto. Don't just throw them in a match and have them be like, hey guys, guess what? Tag team title match. Okay, cool. But these tag teams, we don't really care about them. Who cares? Just watch them. And if you're going to give us Julia more often, then hey, give her a singles match. Give her something else. Because at the end of the show, post-show that they showed online, they had Julia pretty much walk away from Roxanne saying there's no we. So if they're splitting them up and that's not going to be a thing anymore, then going forward, give Julia something meaningful. If she's going to be on Raw, give her something meaningful to do. Give her something that puts her up the pedestal and not just have her, what you've been doing with her, just have her just be there. Going forward, give us something meaningful and not repetitive.
All right. I think that does it. I didn't care for Raw. Fell asleep during it, gave it another chance when I watched it on the replay. Did not care. This shit stunk. Stunk because it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing.
Got nothing.
Yeah, just
Exactly, no pop.
we got nothing here. It's a nothing burger. I apologize. So this is our first time. It's our first time doing one of these together, and this is what we came up with.
This is our first time and this is our last time. We're never doing this again.
On USA, characters welcome.